Hello everyone. In this short, I'm going to talk about Terraform remote state and how you can store your state file in a remote storage location. By default, when you're using Terraform, it stores its state in a local file called terraform.tfstate. Now, I already have this configuration deployed, so you can see that my SSH key and my virtual machine are already deployed, and I have my state file locally. This is great, right? If I'm working by myself, I have my config, I have my state, nobody's bothering me, I have everything I need. But if I lose this state file, for example, let's say I move this, to something else, and I try to run Terraform plan again, Terraform will be like, wait a minute, I want to create all of that infrastructure again. Because without the state file, Terraform has no idea what resources it's managing, right? Terraform uses the state file to know what resources it's supposed to manage. So without it, it thinks you have nothing, and it's going to try to deploy your infrastructure all over again. So when you're working in a team setting, you're going to need to share this state file with everybody that wants to work with Terraform. So if I want to do some plans and applies, I would need the state file myself, right? So now I have the state file back, I can do some plans. But if my teammate wants to use Terraform with the same configuration, I have to give them this configuration, I have to give them the state file, let them do their thing, and then when they're done, they have to share it back to me. That's a very cumbersome process that kind of leads to a lot of instability and non-deterministic behavior. So instead, Terraform has this concept of storing your state file remotely, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. So I have this base infrastructure directory here where I'm creating an S3 bucket and enabling versioning on it. One of the supported remote state options for Terraform is an S3 bucket, so I just created one using this configuration. And now back in my main configuration, I'm going to tell Terraform to use that S3 bucket as its state storage location. You do that by using this backend block here, and I'm giving it the bucket, the key, and the region to store the state file in. And the credentials for this are coming from environment variables, so you don't need to worry about that. When I enable that block and I run Terraform in it again, you'll see that Terraform detects, it says, hey, you're going from the local backend and you want to use this newly configured S3 backend. Would you like me to move your state file from your local backend to the S3 backend? Yes, I do. Once I've done that, my state file is now inside my remote S3 bucket. That means anyone who wants to use Terraform, we're now sharing the same state file. So I no longer need to give them the state file and play this back and forth with them. All I need to do is share the configuration. And since the backend is a remote backend, it'll read that state from the remote location and Terraform will use it no problem. Now, if I run Terraform plan, you'll see that it refreshes the state from S3, sees the state there, and everyone's happy. And you'll notice I still have these local state files, but I don't even need them anymore. So let me just get rid of them. If I just get rid of both of them, so see that they're gone, and I run Terraform plan again, it still refreshes the state, still finds my infrastructure, and it says no changes. That's because it's using remote state at this point. So to recap, by default, Terraform stores its state file in a local file called terraform.tfstate. That's great for when you're working with Terraform by yourself, but when you want to start using Terraform in a team setting with other teammates, you're going to need to share that state file across your team. And sharing a local file again and again and again is very cumbersome. So Terraform allows you to store your state file using a remote state location. There's many different supported locations you can use. One is S3, you can use HTTP, Azure, Terraform Cloud, etc. But pick the one that's best for you. And when you're using remote state, you no longer have to deal with sharing your state with everybody. You're all using the same sync state, and now it makes using Terraform in a team setting much, much simpler. I hope you enjoyed this short, and I will see you in the next one.